Imagine entering a library that has no books, no paper, no screens. Not even a single written word, just silence. Then slowly, you hear voices. Soft, rhythmic chants, echoing like a gentle river of sound. This is not a fantasy, it's real. And it exists in the temples and the pathashalas of South India. Here, knowledge is not stored in pages or servers, it lives in people. In their voices, in their memory, in their daily practice of repetition and devotion. These are not just chants, they're India's oldest sacred texts, passed down for thousands of years, not by ink, but by tongue and heart. In this video, we'll explore this extraordinary tradition where the human mind becomes a library and memory becomes the greatest tool of preservation. So, let's dive in to know more. Pathashalas. In Tamil Nadu, near the ancient temples of Kanchipuram and Chidambaram, there are small, humble schools called pathashalas. They may not look special from the outside, just simple rooms with mats on the floor, but what happens inside is remarkable. Here, young boys, sometimes as young as 6 or 7, dedicate years of their lives to memorizing India's most sacred texts. The Vedas, the Upanishads, and other spiritual works. But unlike modern schools, they don't use books, notebooks, or computers. They don't even write anything down. Every single word is memorized, recited aloud, and preserved by sound. A teacher, called a guru, sits in front of a small group of students. He chants a line from a Vedic verse. The students repeat it, again and again. Sometimes hundreds of times. This is how learning happens. Word by word, sound by sound, day after day, year after year. There are no exams, no textbooks, no homework. Only the goal of perfect memory and pronunciation. This is how the ancient Indian knowledge system has survived for more than 3,000 years without writing anything down. Vedas and why they are memorized. The Vedas are India's most ancient scriptures. They are written in Sanskrit, one of the oldest languages in the world. There are 4 main Vedas. Rig Veda, hymns and praises to nature and gods. Yajur Veda, rituals and ceremonies. Samaveda, melodies and musical chants. And Atharva Veda, knowledge of everyday life, healing, and philosophy. These texts are not just religious scriptures, they are a complete system of life, covering everything from science and ethics to health and nature. For those who study them, every syllable holds spiritual power, and that's why they must be recited exactly as taught. No mistakes, no changes. You may wonder, why not just write them down? The answer lies in the belief that the sound itself is sacred. The vibration of a correctly spoken word is more important than the meaning on a page. If the pronunciation changes, the effect of the chant is lost. So to keep this purity, students memorize the text exactly as they were spoken by their teachers, who learned them the same way from their own teachers. This oral tradition has continued for over 3,000 years with minimal changes. Even scholars around the world, like Fritz Stahl and Michael Witzel, have praised the accuracy and reliability of this method. It is considered one of the most successful memory-based knowledge systems in human history. Life inside a pathashala. A typical day in a pathashala begins before sunrise. Students wake up early, take a bath, perform morning prayers, and then gather in their learning space. The atmosphere is peaceful, focused, and full of respect. The teacher begins the session by chanting a verse. The students sit cross-legged, eyes closed, fully focused. They listen carefully and repeat what they hear. Some lines are long, some are short, some require changes in tone or rhythm. Learning is slow and steady, like building a temple brick by brick. Throughout the day, they may spend hours on just a few lines. This is not seen as boring or frustrating, instead it's a form of meditation, a spiritual practice. Every repetition brings them closer to understanding, not just the words, but the energy behind the words. In these schools, respect for the guru is everything. The students follow the teacher's guidance completely. The guru, in turn, gives his full time and care to ensure the student masters the texts. There are no rewards, no certificates, and no competition. The reward is the mastery of sacred knowledge and the deep satisfaction of carrying forward a tradition that connects them directly to their ancestors. Temples and the sound of learning. Most pathashalas are found close to temples, especially ancient ones like those in Srirangam, Chidambaram, and Kanchipuram. These temples are not just places of worship, they're centers of learning, where the sounds of Vedic chants have echoed for centuries. In these temple towns, the line between religion, education, and daily life is blurred. Everything is connected. The food, the rituals, the music, and the chants all reflect a culture deeply rooted in the oral tradition. For thousands of years, these temples have been living libraries, not made of stone or scrolls, but of sound, memory, and sacred practice. They don't store knowledge on shelves, they store it in the minds and voices of human beings. One of the most beautiful examples of this is the Chidambaram Temple, where daily rituals still include Vedic chanting by trained priests. The same chants that were sung 1,000 years ago are still being heard today, with almost no change. The future of the spoken library. But like many ancient traditions, the pathashala system is facing challenges. Today's world is fast, children are more interested in digital devices than in memorizing long Sanskrit verses. Families want their children to focus on modern careers, and as a result, fewer students are joining these schools, and some gurus have no one to pass their knowledge to. Some organizations and temples are trying to protect the tradition. They're recording the chants, training new teachers, and even building online libraries of audio files. UNESCO has also recognized Vedic chanting as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. However, the real power of this tradition cannot be captured in a recording. It lives in the human connection, between teacher and student, between one generation and the next. That's what makes it a true living library. Saving this tradition is not just about saving chants, it's about saving a way of learning that values discipline, patience, listening, and respect. Values that are rare in today's fast-moving world. The idea of a library without books may seem strange at first, but once you understand the pathashala system, you see it's not just a library, it's a living miracle. It is built on the power of memory, the beauty of sound, and the strength of human connection. This tradition teaches us that true knowledge doesn't always live on paper or in machines. Sometimes it lives in the heart, in the breath, and in the unbroken chain of voices that pass it on. So, the next time you hear someone chanting softly near a temple, pause for a moment. You may not understand the words, but you are hearing the voice of a 3,000-year-old library, still alive, still speaking, and still teaching. If you found this story inspiring, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more such explorations of ancient wisdom and hidden traditions. Stay tuned for more.